Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader. And before we get started here, guys, we'll need to run through our risk disclosure. So let's go ahead and do that. So just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader and its affiliates is to be used as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. We all understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk. It's not for every investor. Investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation to offer, buy, sell futures or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right. So before we let's see, we're going to go ahead now and move on to our news portal here. All right. So we'll take a look and see what news we have in store that could impact the markets. So relatively light. So we have, looks like we have the Australian Prime Minister visiting President Trump today. Fair amount of earnings. We've just entered, I guess, the second week of earnings. All right. So we have a number of earnings coming up tomorrow and through the rest of the week. We have EIA crude oil reporting tomorrow, actually Wednesday. Okay. And just kind of see here, we have relatively large news coming in on Friday. We have core CPI, PMI, and the inflationary sentiment from Michigan. Okay, so relatively light, I would say, in the news front. The fact that we are in earnings season could obviously have some impact in the markets overall. Adverse markets, since a lot of these stocks are represented in some of these indices, right? So let's go ahead now and take a look here at our trading platform. Let's see what kind of context we can generate from the markets in preparation for the markets. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and bring that up here in a moment. All right, let's see here. Morning, Dirk. All right, let's see here. We're going to go ahead and open this up here, and then we're going to change our focus to our trading platform here. Here we are. Okay, hopefully you guys have seen my screen. I do have a chart of the NASDAQ, but we're going to go ahead and start off with the gold market. Okay, so as we normally do. So we'll start off with the gold. Gold continues to make higher highs and higher lows here. We'll take a look at the daily here. We'll remove some of our drawings. All right, so you can see here that the market, it continues to show signs of strength. We had a relatively, I guess, bearish candle here on Friday, but nonetheless, we've opened the day with yet another bullish candle in this market. All right, so everything continues to show signs that we are looking to continue to head higher in this market. I think maybe there was some indication here, that maybe we could get maybe a little bit of a retracement here, but nonetheless, we came in with yet another developing bullish candle. Looking at the 4-hour chart here, okay, we're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment. Okay, so you can see here that we are developing yet another. We're breaking out of a little consolidation range that was established here, I guess, overnight, over the weekend. Let's see, through Sunday. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and so this area right here, right, was kind of a little bit of a consolidation area, right? Tail end of Friday into Sunday. Okay, now we've managed, I guess, with the start of the London session and beyond pre-market. It looks like we've kind of actually, now technically we're not pre-market. We're 7 minutes into the U.S. session now. You can see that we've kind of rallied away from this. Okay, so again, a level of importance, I guess, to continue this march to the upside. We have that 4380 level, maybe as high as 4400. Okay, if there's like 4,400 above, that I would expect to be somewhat resistant to price. Okay. So this is going to be an interesting level to see if these set of sellers that stepped in here are able to maybe potentially step into the market and maybe move the market into some sort of range here. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart. We're going to go ahead and see what the 30-minute chart has to say here. I'm going to take a look here. So you can see here again that price again is above our 9 EMA, above our VWAP, above our fixed range volume profile that not fixed range, but the visible range volume profile here that I have on the right hand side. Okay, all indications right now, including the delta, cumulative delta here, is indicating that we are in a rather strong move to the upside. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the fixed range volume profile here of late and see what market. I think we all know, but we'll double confirm here. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. You can see that the market is well above value, right? So if there's an area that I'm going to be focusing on, maybe and look for, maybe if price were to retrace this area down below, it's also serving as kind of the point of control, could serve as an area for price to reverse away from. Okay, so we have a little bit of confluence here with the high end of value and the point of control of this visible range volume profile. This could offer us a logical location, okay, logical location for price to come to and potentially reverse away from. Okay, so that's kind of what we're so this level here around 42.78, 42.78 looks like. Okay, so in any case, I'm going to kind of run through the initial balance ranges for the various markets here. Let's see if I can go ahead and do that. Let's see if I can find my initial balance. There it is. Good morning, Aslan. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a look here. We're going to turn this off again. Okay, here we are. All right, so we're going to start off with the Asia market, see what Asia was able to do with this market. Okay, so here we are. Asia again, really was pretty much range bound. Asia wasn't really able to take the market in any one direction, right? It kind of consolidated here, and it wasn't until we got to London. Okay, London really came in and drove price higher. Okay, so you can see kind of in the middle of the London session, right, we got to the 200% extension of this range, right? This is a kind of a nice extension, right? We got a nice extension above the initial balance range, and we had 3 consecutive 30-minute candles to the upside. That caused us to reach the initial balance. I mean, the 200% of the initial balance range. Now, if I take a look at the ADR, you can see that we already have exceeded these. This is the statistical range here. I don't know. See if I can make this a little bit darker color here. If I can get to the ADR zone, see if I make this a little bit more visible. So we'll maybe darken this up here a little bit so you guys can see that. Okay. So you can see that we've already reached the average daily range. Okay. For the day. All right. The question now becomes: is this going to be a signal where maybe we lose a little bit of momentum here to the upside? Okay. Yeah. London was very beautiful. We have a very beautiful move to the upside. Okay. So now that we've reached the average daily range high, is this going to offer us maybe a little bit of a pullback? Okay. On price, right? Or maybe price decides to maybe consolidate, right? Chances are, right, there's going to be something that along those kind of lines, because the market doesn't generally move vertically up in one direction without at some point coming back and maybe consolidating here a bit. Okay. So while I remain bullish, okay, bullish on the market, I do understand that, there might be a kind of a retracement here that I could look for if I'm going to participate in this market to the upside. Okay. So I'm going to take this most recent swing. I'm going to take the 50% extension and certainly this 4,300 level, which is the 50%, 43.10 would be another logical level, right? If I'm going to kind of participate in this market, I'd like to participate in some sort of pullback, right? Some sort of pullback to the market here, because I don't necessarily want to participate to the long side in a market that, you know, really is going to be difficult for me to arrive at an entry price, because of the fact that the amount of risk I need to take on this trade in order to support it. Okay. So we have some areas above us here around 43.60, right? 43.80. This area above, I would expect to be somewhat resistant to price, right? This area above should be somewhat resistant to price. While we can certainly extend, I would expect that price would potentially at least stall here a bit. Okay. So again, coming into this market, again, probably the best course of action would be to look for opportunity to the bullish side, not necessarily at the current levels. Okay. We need to see if we can wait and get some sort of pullback in price. We're going to go ahead and monitor this initial balance range that's being developed here, which seems to be pretty significant, to be honest. Okay. Oops, that's not the one I wanted. Day session. Okay. So we're already establishing a pretty significant, yeah, exactly. So that would be a logical location, a confluence there, right? 50% retracement, 50 ADR low for prior day, right? So yeah, you can see here, right? You can see here that we have the ADR low here. So a lot of confluence here, right? We have the 50% retracement, we have ADR low for Friday, so that would be a good logical place for price to retrace to and reverse away from. Okay. All right. So I would say, again, gold continues to show bullish signs. If I'm going to remain bullish, I'm going to be aware of this area above me, 43.80, 43.90. You can see here on the left-hand side, that has been resistant in the past. And since this is the first time we've been up at this level, since that, maybe the third time, this I would expect that this level could become an area of some sort of resistance to price. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the crude oil market. Crude oil market, we'll go ahead and start off with the daily chart. Well, surprise, surprise, market continues to show signs of weakness. Okay. We were kind of maybe thinking and toying with the idea, I think, on Friday, that maybe that market has maybe finally found a bottom. Well, doesn't appear to be the case here. Okay. A market continues to show signs of weakness here. Okay. So I'm turning off my a couple of things here. I'm going to turn off here. Okay. All right. So you can see that price remains below, right? We're continue to create series of lower lows and lower highs. Prices below our 90 MA, prices below our value range. Okay. Established here. 62 is our kind of value range. And now we're sitting developing a bearish engulfing candle on the daily. Okay, again, giving us indications that the market remains somewhat weak. All right, looking at the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart, again, we are kind of zooming in on these daily candles. You can see that we're kind of staircasing our way to the downside here. Okay, so let's take a look here. Yeah, so staircasing our way to the downside, right? So again, nothing here indicating to us that there's any sign of strength in this market. We need to continue to look for opportunities where we can maybe sell strength. Okay, taking a look at the 30-minute chart. All right, 30-minute chart here. Again, you can see we continue to, again, similar to what we've been saying with the daily and the 4-hour. Market continues to show signs of weakness. Okay, price is below our 9 EMA here, as well as our VWAP. Okay, VWAP, which is kind of color coded here, guys. So if price is below, then my VWAP turns into a red color. If price is above, then my VWAP turns to a blue color. Okay, so fact is that price is below VWAP, indicating that there's still a fair amount of bearish price action taking place in this market. Let's see, strangely, crude becoming more erratic nowadays. Its price doesn't react to sentiments and fundamentals as we traditionally expected. Yeah. I mean, crude oil has been, I would say, kind of erratic of late. I think, obviously, Aslan, we know that there's a lot of, how we say, um, the sort of general global exposure that crude oil has, right? I think that probably contributes to some of its erraticness. Okay, all the global kind of news headlines that often crude reacts to. Okay, so but yes, I haven't traded much in the way of crude oil in some time. Most of my trades have been on to the gold side. So yes, I do understand what you mean when you say that the market has been a bit erratic. Okay, all right. Let's take a look here at the fixed range volume profile. Let's take a look and see where price is in relation to Friday's price action. Okay, and looks like we maybe a little bit in range. Well, actually, technically below. All right, not aggressively below, but certainly below. Okay, right. So we have price below our value range from Friday. Although you see that we're getting wicks on both ends of these candles. There's not really a lot of aggressive selling or aggressive buying, I would say, at this point. Market has been of late a little bit more in range, but certainly in some sort of bearish structure. All right, so let's take a look here at the initial balance range, and let's see what we can glean here from the initial balance. So we're going to go ahead and open up the Asia session here and take a look and see what the Asia session has to say with respect to initial balance. And you can see that the market actually sold off right here, actually was kind of in range, right, until the tail end of the Asia session. And we got a nice extension here to the downside in the middle, actually, as we approached London. Okay. And then once we got into London, looks like when the London folks came into the market, they decided that maybe I've seen enough of this downside trade, and they actually extended it higher before they failed to extend. Right now, it appears that the market is in some sort of range. Right now, we are inside the initial balance range of London. So for me, this market, I'll be looking for it. But right now, as it currently stands, is probably a market I don't want to be a part of, since we are inside some sort of initial balance range and we're getting wicks on both ends of the candle, really not giving me much in the way of indication as to where they want to generally take this market. Okay. So right now, I would say that we're probably bearish to neutral in this market. Okay. I'd like to see market participants, drive outside of this balance range in some sort of direction to give me some indication as to where they want to take this. But until then, I'll sit on the sidelines and wait for them to decide which direction they want to take it. Right now, the path of least resistance appears to be to the downside, but it looks like there are some folks here maybe who have stepped in and not allowing price to get below 56.60. Okay, so that seems to be kind of the new line in the sand. The question is whether they have the participants to drive price in the opposite direction. Okay, so again, crude oil, I would say more of the neutral to bearish. Okay, as I head into the New York session. Okay, all right. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the Nasdaq, but before I do, I'm just going to again put on my little marketing hat here and encourage folks to, if you're not a subscriber, to hit the subscribe button. If you are benefiting from this analysis that I'm providing you guys on a daily basis, hit the like button. Provide me a comment or two on the portal, indicating to folks that this analysis is indeed supporting your analysis and navigation of the markets. Okay, all right. So with that with one you like here, guys, we're going to go ahead and move on to the Nasdaq here. All right, and take a look at what the Nasdaq has to offer here. So taking a look at the daily here. Okay, so it looks like, I don't know if we're in some sort of rollover, but it looks like we got a gap open to the upside. Okay, we're going to go ahead and remove some of our drawings here. So you see we got a gap open. Looks like that gap has been filled, but the fact that we opened with a gap up is a bit telling. I don't know if that's the result of rollover or whether that's truly an indication of maybe some strength in the market here. Okay. So market still remains inside this bearish candle. Again, really for me to embrace the bulls here, we really need to get above 25,400 to really, for me to embrace the bulls. Otherwise, I feel like we are still in somewhat, at the mercy of these sellers here. Now, we all understand that this particular candle was news driven, right? Any sort of news around tariffs, especially tariffs to the negative side, is going to be met with some apprehension or from the markets here. Okay, so we have a developing bullish candle inside a bearish candle, right? So again, if I am going to remain bullish, I need to see price get above 25,400. Otherwise, I feel like I can see at any moment in time, some sellers stepping into this market. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. You can see here that we are developing yet another bullish of the engulfing candle variety here. Okay, at the top end of the market, right? So we're back to Thursday's highs. Okay, we've been bullish since I guess the early part of Friday and into Sunday. Looks like the market is somewhat bullish on the Nasdaq. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart. You can see that we are coming into what appears to be the London range here. Let me see, double confirm. Yeah, that's the London. Let's take a look at Asia since we have the initial balance range up here. Okay, so we did get an extension, right? You can see here that we did get an extension from the initial balance range, right? So we extended, came back to the 9 EMA and reached the, I don't know, 75%, maybe 65% extension of this initial balance range. Okay, so price remains above this balance range that was established in Asia. Okay, so that is obviously a bullish sign. Okay. Moving on to, say, the London session here. I'll take a look at the London session. And you can see also that the market actually sold off here a little bit on the London side, found some buyers here at the 100% extension. All right. And now we're working our way back inside the initial balance range with the possibility of maybe price rotating up to the highs of this initial balance range at 25,150 from its current levels. Okay, that's kind of assuming that we do close inside this range. That's certainly something that we can potentially expect to see, right? At least up to 25,152 before we see any sort of reversal in price here. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the fixed range volume profile. We're going to go ahead and start off with the start of the Friday session here and kind of work our way to the close of Friday. All right, so there we are there. Drag that across to Friday, close here. Okay, so you can see that we are technically above value, okay, indicating that there is somewhat of a bullish sentiment currently in the Nasdaq, right? So if I go ahead and extend that line, you can see how nicely we reacted. Okay, that's why I marked these levels, guys. Look how nicely price reacted away from the value area high from Friday, right? That's why I extend these lines, because these provide us reference levels for us to potentially participate in the market, right? So if we're looking for a value area high, right, as an opportunity or a level where we can manage our risk, you can see here we got a nice pullback to value area high from Friday, got a bullish engulfing candle, and off we went to the bullish side. Okay, we could pick much worser locations than picking value area highs from prior sessions as areas for to participate in the market. I don't know if any of you understand the reference of lazy lion, but this is a very much a lazy lion location. Okay, this area of value area high, right? So kind of stalking a reference level, in this case value area high, to support us in a continuation trade here to the upside. Okay, so as we enter the New York session here in the next half hour or so, I would say that the market is showing some signs of some bullish price action. It'll be interesting to see how well price reacts away from this 25,160 level. If we do manage to close above, then this could offer maybe us an opportunity off of the 25,152 level for a continuation move. We always have to be on the guard here, especially with the NASDAQ, of maybe potentially seeing some sort of fake breakout, right? Kind of trapping some buyers up here at the highs, only for the market to reverse the other way. That is a very how we say often something that we see in the equity markets, especially the NASDAQ. Okay, so in any case, we are starting to see some bullish price action. Okay, looks like we are a little bit in range over, but I'm looking at these set of candles here, and I'm seeing that these set of candles are at least certainly on the bullish side, right? So again, I'm going to be looking to see if price breaks and holds above 25,160. If it does that, then maybe there's some opportunity here for further upside move in the NASDAQ. Okay. As a water hole. Yes, exactly, Aslan. Right. Yeah, exactly. The for continuation. Okay. For continuation move, right? So in my group coaching calls, I talk about lions, right? Waiting in the safari for the three-legged gazelle to come by, right? So rather than chase price to the upside, why not wait for price to come, after it's broken a certain level, wait for price, much like the lion, okay, waits for prey at a watering hole, right? Or an area where so that's kind of the reference there, right? Just to give us a little bit of a metaphor here, right? These prior levels, these levels offer us locations for in this case, a continuation move to the upside. Okay, right? So we got a nice mean, we a nice mean reversion trade down to value area high, and once we reach value area high, price continue to the upside. Okay, all right. Let's see. Let's go ahead and move on to the ES here and see what the ES has to offer here. We'll start off with the daily chart. Again, similar kind of look and feel that we saw in the NASDAQ. Okay. So you can see that I don't know if this is I don't know if we're in the midst of rollover or whether this is a legitimate gap to the upside. We kind of filled in that gap. Yeah, no worries. No worries. Yeah, the most recent session I did, there was a lot of discussion on Lazy Lion, okay? And that kind of resonated with a lot of people to the point that they're making references in a group coaching as well, okay? So, yeah, in the most recent video that I posted up on Discord, there's a lot of references to Lazy Lion, okay? All right, so similar to the NASDAQ, guys, you can see that we are seeing a little bit of in the way of some bullish price action underway here in the ES. Okay, this is, like I said, if I did not look at what symbol I was looking at, I would say that I was looking at the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ and the ES have a lot of the same look and feel, which is kind of expected here. Looking at the 4-hour chart, you can see that we're developing yet another bullish engulfing candle in the bullish direction. Again, giving us an indication that where there's maybe some further upside momentum in this market. Now we are coming into some areas again that could potentially be resistant. 6760, 6750 are a couple of resistance zones. All right, and then we have obviously the 6800 level that we have remaining. Nonetheless, the market is continuing to show signs of strength here, right? We had a nice failed auction here, and I suspect that if I do my little fixed range volume profile here, okay, go ahead and draw this out from the start of, say, Friday here, right about there, drag this across to the close. Okay, we made it again. You can see here back at the start of Sunday here, right? Look how nicely Look how nicely price came back to value area high and reversed, right? So again, this is the reason. This is the reason that we provide these reference levels, because they they offer us logical reference areas for participants to be there, right? So in this case, we had buyers extend the value range. Price has come back to this value area high and has not been back to that level since. And we've been in this kind of bullish structure ever since. All right. So let's take a look at the initial balance range here a little bit more closely. Let's see what ranges we're able to establish here, say in Tokyo. All right. So again, we got a nice extension to the upside, and in the I got to pretty close to the 100% extension of the initial balance range in Asia. All right. Moving down to the London session, I think we've already kind of witnessed that we got a little bit of an auction lower, okay, only to find some buyers. And now we've rotated back through the initial balance range all the way to the opposite side of the initial balance range. Now the question becomes, what is the U.S. going to offer us? Well, that's to be determined here in about 25 minutes or so. But we did get a nice unfortunately, this didn't really give us much of an opportunity to participate, right? But nonetheless, if we were able to participate on a close back inside this initial balance range. It did offer us a nice rotation of the initial balance range up to the opposite side of the range. Okay, so I would say again, market is showing some signs of some strength. We are coming into some areas that I would be maybe cautious on. All right, the 6750, 6760. I would expect to be areas of some sort of resistance to price. So again, up until that point, maybe there's certainly opportunities available. Again, I'm going to be waiting for this initial balance range potentially to provide me some sort of guidance as to which direction they want to take this market. But much like the NASDAQ, I would say that the ES is looking quite bullish. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the Dow here. All right. So looking at the Dow, you can see that we're maybe getting another possible rotation of this initial balance range here in the Dow, right? Assuming that we can close back inside the range, this could offer us an opportunity where we could maybe potentially rotate all the way up to the high of the day here. Okay, at 46,583. First order of business, obviously, is that we need to see if we can get a 50-minute candle here to close back inside. But if that's the case, then we don't have to take all that much risk for an opportunity that could potentially take us back up to the highs here. Okay, let's take a look at the daily here. Again, similar kind of, again, all three equity markets giving us the same kind of look and feel here. We have a gap to the upside. All right. And we had that gap filled in the overnight so far. And we have a developing candle here. Now, the cumulative volume delta really not giving us much indication here as to the direction. Volume doesn't appear to be in any one direction at this point. So not really a whole lot of aggressive buying or selling going on in the Dow, but we're about 20 minutes away from the open of the session here. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour. Again, similar to what we were seeing in the ES, we have a developing bullish candle. What maybe has the potential of maybe an engulfing candle, which could lead us to maybe some further price action here to the upside. Taking a look at the 30-minute here, you can see that we are creeping back into the initial balance range of the London session. If I compare, let's say, the fixed range volume profile here, let's see, fixed range volume profile. All right, to the start of the Friday session. Okay, there we are. Drag this across here. Okay, you can see that we're above value. Again, not as clean on the ES, or sorry, the Dow, but again offered us a nice reversal away from value area high. So again, as we mark up our charts, and as we kind of start our days, right, marking these levels of value area highs, from prior sessions, could offer us locations where we can participate in price, right? So as I mentioned, we have price potentially closing back inside the initial balance range for London, and it could offer us maybe a rotation all the way up to the other side of the initial balance. That's at least what it appears it wants to do at this point. So again, similar to the ES and the NASDAQ, I would say that, again, I would say bullish to neutral in the Dow here, maybe more bullish of late here. So that's kind of, again, we need to kind of see if we can find locations, if we can participate. I think this 46,585 level is going to be an important level. Okay, if we can manage to get above that, that could lead us to maybe a continuation move here to the upside. Or, if we can't hold it, then that might offer us maybe a rotation back in the other direction. Okay. So again, bullish to range in the Dow here. Okay. We'll take one final peek across all the markets here, guys. Gold continues to do its thing. All right. It's coming up on this area. We got a developing candle that is not really have been able to make any sort of inroads into this bullish sentiment here. Again, I'd like to see some sort of pullback. I'm going to be the lazy lion, whether it's the 9 EMA here around 4,300 or whether it's going to be the 4,320 level, whatever level that is. Okay. I'm going to be the person that's going to wait for some sort of retracement of price. And in order for me to participate in this market, I'm not going to participate to the bullish side at the highs of the market, but nonetheless, the market continues to show signs of strength to the upside. Okay. Crude oil giving us the same kind of look and feel. Again, to the downside, we got a nice break of the initial balance range of London here to the downside. We're going to go ahead and open up the initial balance range for the US session here. And that appears to be a relatively wide range, honestly. Okay. So pretty wide initial balance range in this market. So I would expect that the 56 level should be a supportive area. Okay. If I look back historically, I think 56 has been an area where we have found some support. I think I was calling for 56 at some point in some of my analysis on the daily. Let's take a look here and see if I can. I think 56 was definitely a level. Yeah, 56, definitely a level here, guys. So the question now becomes, and we haven't been at this level for some time. So I would expect this level to be somewhat reactive. We are still in bearish structure here. So, but we are coming into a daily level that could cause price. Yeah, we're gonna go through one little pass of NASDAQ here again. Okay, started a little bit earlier than most days, Sam. Yeah. So in any case, we are coming into an area of demand here inside some bearish structure in the crude oil. Okay. If we are bearish, and there's reason to be, then we need to see if we can find some opportunities with strength. Yeah, I think so, Alejandro. I think there's a possibility that could bounce off of the 56.10 level and give us a little bit of a pullback. Right now, I wouldn't marry that trade. Okay. But it certainly is at a level where we could see some sort of bounce, right? Maybe a bounce back to the VWAP here, right up to maybe 56.60. Doesn't seem, or 56.70. That doesn't seem like an illogical kind of thing for this market to potentially do. Okay, that's a possibility. Again, every trade that you end up taking here obviously has to be kind of aligned with your risk tolerances, right? I'm giving you kind of a sense that we are at a daily level that could create a little bit of a bounce off the market here. Okay. All right. Maybe the best course of action would be to see if we get some sort of 3-bar reversal pattern right around this 56.10 level, and then look for maybe an opportunity that would take us back to the highs. That would seem like the more logical thing to do here. All right. Sam Lin and others who are kind of chomping at the bit here for the NASDAQ. I think I had communicated in my review that the market does appear to be somewhat bullish, and that we should be looking for maybe some bullish opportunities in the market. I mentioned that this 160 level could be a potential area of some level of resistance if we are going to participate in the market, much like the gold. And like I said, very rare to see both the gold and the equities moving in the same direction, but that's kind of what we're seeing right now. Okay. Yeah, the wider the initial balance range, the more likely we are to see failed auction. That is correct. Okay, So again, coming up on these 25, 160 levels here, okay, could offer us maybe some sort of reversal in price in the NAS. Again, until we break above 25,160, I would say that there's a possibility that we could remain in some sort of range. I would say that the 9 EMA and the VWAP could offer us some locations. 9 EMA being the 25,100 level, the VWAP being around the 25,075 level. These offer us maybe some logical locations, maybe to participate in some sort of continuation trade to the upside in this market. I have to be cognizant of the fact that there's the possibility that we could remain in range, right? 25 or 160 could turn out to be an area that the market just does not want to get above, and we could potentially remain in range here, right? So we've already had a leg lower, right, in the overnight. We've had a leg higher in the pre-market. It's not out of the realm of possibility here that we could potentially have another leg lower in the Nasdaq. Okay, now that we're up against some levels. Market is showing again signs of bullish, but the location right now is kind of indicating to me that we could see maybe a potential reversal, maybe in the hypothesis that we might be in some sort of range in market. Okay, ES also offering the same kind of view, right, up against 67.36, 67.40. Okay, again, could offer us maybe a location where we could reverse in price, although the market is in some sort of bullish structure. I wouldn't necessarily be a buyer at these levels, right? If I'm going to be a buyer, again, I need to see some sort of retracement in price in order for me to participate to the upside. And then the same, I think, is holding true for the Dow as well. Okay, the Dow also giving us some indication here of some bullish price action, but we're coming up against some levels here that could cause price to reverse. Okay, I say could, right? There's nothing set in stone on that view, right? But I do see that we are at a level where we could see a potential reversal in price. If we do break and hold, then maybe that translates into further upside move in this market. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I think that's pretty much what I have for you guys today. I see that we are already over the number of likes, but if you haven't hit the like button, because I know I've had a little bit of rotation of folks in and out of the session here today. If you haven't hit the like button, I would encourage you guys to do so. All right. And if you haven't left a comment about how this analysis has supported your trading, I would encourage you to do that as well. Yeah, again, start of the week. Okay. Probably not a time to be super aggressive. At least the start of the week, I like to be even a little bit more slower in entering anything as far as opportunities in the market. Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome, Aslan. Okay. All right. So as we close this session again, guys, thank you, Dirk. Trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent day trading, guys, and we'll talk again soon.